You ever notice how it only takes a few seconds for your whole life to change? That's what happened to Adrienne Blake, though I'm not sure even she realized it in that exact moment, sitting in her rental car on a sleepy Georgia back road, waiting for her niece's graduation gown to finish the day. Those blue lights flashed behind her like a cruel joke, and she knew, maybe before anything was even said, that her uniform, her years of service, none of it was going to protect her from what was coming. That's the thing about America, right? Sometimes the toughest battles show up right in your own backyard. See, these two officers, Ray Mitchum and Logan Sharp, they didn't see the lieutenant general when they looked at Adrienne. They saw what they wanted to see, just another black woman to push around. And it might have ended there. Another ugly, private humiliation if Adrienne hadn't calmly pressed her smartwatch, sending out a signal that would shake up the whole system from a little police station all the way up to Capitol Hill. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up a sec, because before all this, Adrienne was just coming home. The sun was low, the air thick with that Georgia smell of pine and earth, and her sister's house looked exactly like memory. Cornbread in the oven, quilts over every couch, family photos crowding every inch of wall space. There was her niece Autumn, trying to act too cool for a hug and failing miserably, and Tanya, her sister, still calling her the general with half a laugh, half pride, half disbelief. Yeah, I know that's three halves, but you get what I mean. For a moment, Adrienne was just Addie, just family. But her peace never lasts long, not when there's always someone in the world itching to remind her she doesn't belong, no matter what she's done. So she volunteers for a simple errand, pick up Autumn's cap and gown before the shop closes. The sort of thing any aunt would do, the sort of errand that should be nothing but a quiet night drive through fields and memories. Instead, she gets a lesson in how deep American lines still are you in. It starts as a routine stop, Mitchum's flashlight too bright, his voice too sharp. Adrienne keeps her hands visible, stays calm, the way every black parent teaches their kids, even when those kids grow up to pin stars on their collars. Doesn't matter, Mitchum sees what he wants. Step out of the car. She tries to explain, tries to show her ID, her military paperwork, tries every polite, careful way she can, but it doesn't matter. They call her General Oprah and laugh about it, ignoring the truth staring them in the face. Before she knows it, she's in cuffs, hands behind her back, a lifetime of medals and service dismissed with a sneer. You think that'd be the worst of it, but these guys go further, smashing a bystander's phone, throwing their weight around, turning routine humiliation into something even uglier. That bystander, Darnell, doesn't disappear though. His friend Marcus manages to rescue the video footage, and that grainy clip of a black woman in uniform being paraded in handcuffs makes its way onto every phone, every feed, every TV in the country before morning. Yeah, that happened. While Adrienne waits in her holding cell, dignity wrapped tight around her like a second skin, her emergency signal sets off a chain reaction. Pentagon officers go on high alert. Major Marks, an old friend she once carried to safety in Afghanistan, starts pushing buttons, calling in favors, mapping out Ashwood from 1,000 miles away. General Reyes, her commander, is in the air headed south within hours, and the local police chief is suddenly fielding calls from state officials, federal agents, and reporters who all want to know how the hell this happened. But the local machine tries to cover it up, business as usual. Chief Straude, sharp, political, ruthless, spins the story for the media, refuses to acknowledge Adrienne's credentials, paints it all as a routine stop, says claimed general like the uniform's just a Halloween costume. In the background, a young officer, Nia Tucker, is watching all of this, quietly horrified, her conscience pricked by the way the department treats people who look like her. Then the story cracks wide open. The video goes viral. Social media blows up. Hashtag Lady in Cuffs turns into a national outcry, and suddenly the whole country is talking about Ashwood, about racial profiling, about what it means when the people sworn to protect you become the threat. And here's the twist, Nia, the rookie cop, decides she's done with silent complicity. She starts recording conversations in the break room, gets audio of Mitchum boasting about putting people in their place, catches talk about how the department protects its own. She hands it all to a journalist friend, and suddenly it's not just Adrienne's word against the system, it's the system on tape, ugly and undeniable. Meanwhile, the higher-ups scramble. The Pentagon investigates, politicians posture, the Secretary of Defense tries to get Adrian to take early retirement and let things cool off. She refuses. She didn't serve 27 years just to back down when it matters most. The stakes get higher. Threats, intimidation, even a cross burning on Nia's lawn. The officer who could have turned witness, Logan Sharp, ends up dead under suspicious circumstances. But the movement won't die. Attorney Jeremiah Cole builds a case that stretches far beyond Ashwood, uncovering a network of police unions, political connections, money moving through defense contractors. Turns out this wasn't just about two bad cops, it was a whole rotten structure, with a U.S. Senator, Wrongfully, pulling strings and funneling resources to his own shadow army. The case explodes. Leaked recordings expose a conspiracy to target problem citizens, to smear and silence anyone who threatens the status quo. Whistleblowers like Nia come forward, even as they're harassed and threatened. Adrian becomes a national figure, testifies before Congress, gives speeches about the real meaning of the oath she took, and all that pressure, all that public anger, finally cracks the dam. The Ashwood Police Department is dismantled. Chief Straught is arrested trying to flee the country. Senator Wrongfully and General Kane are put on trial. The evidence is overwhelming: testimony, financial records, hacked messages that make it clear this was never about justice, always about power. It all leads to one of the biggest civil rights trials in decades. Adrian stands in full dress blues on the witness stand and tells the jury exactly what happened. Mitchum, desperate and broken, admits it was all about putting her in her place. And when the verdict comes, guilty, on every charge, the courtroom erupts, not with rage, but with relief. The aftermath. Sweeping police reform. A new federal board led by Nia, now a symbol of ethical law enforcement. The Cross Sharp Foundation set up to protect whistleblowers. Autumn becomes a youth activist, pushing her generation to keep the fight going. Even the cemetery back in Ashwood changes. Adrian lays her Medal of Honor on Sharp's grave, a small gesture for a man who tried, in the end, to do the right thing. Adrian retires, but not quietly. She keeps speaking, keeps pushing, tells a high school crowd in Detroit, "Don't cheer for me. March for what's right." The message ripples outward, and the kids who hear it, they believe it. They carry it on. That little traffic stop, meant to silence her, ends up shining a light so bright it burns the shadows away. The question she leaves us with: what do you do when the system you serve turns on you? Do you stay silent? Or do you risk everything for justice? That's the heart of it. So let's hear your thoughts. What would you do if it was you or someone you loved? Where's the line between loyalty and justice? Sound off in the comments, because the story doesn't end here. It just passes on to the next one willing to stand up and speak.